The story begins with the protagonist finding himself in a world without modern technology. He sees chandeliers and candles instead of lamps and LED lights, which makes him realize that this fantasy world is less advanced than his previous life. He is held in his mother's arms accompanied by a maid. Unlike his past as an orphan, he discovers that he comes from a wealthy family, evident from his enchanting mother. This assures him that his love life will be easier in his privileged position. Time flies, and at the age of 3 he climbs a rickety chair to get a glimpse of the outside world. His little adventure is cut short when the maid swiftly takes him in her arms, warning him about the dangers of an unstable chair. Through conversations with the maid, he learns about his noble lineage as the son of the Grand Duke of Dragonia within the Kingdom of Lionheart. At 8 years old, he receives his first sword and begins training as a knight to serve his kingdom. Curious about the warrior's abilities, he wonders if he can tap into aura or chi. His master, Sir Gothic, is a strict knight sent to train him, and he mentions the importance of the goddess's will and the value of Leon's training. However, Leon soon realized that the path to becoming a holy knight was not a joyride. Sir Gothic trained him rigorously, pushing him to his limits. Leon endured physical and mental challenges, driven by his determination to become a holy knight. As the years passed, Leon reached the age of 16. On a rainy day, he witnessed a village under attack by orcs. Outnumbered knights struggled to defend it. Leon swiftly intervened, ending the attack by cutting down an orc. This heroic act marked the beginning of his journey as a protector of the weak. At the age of 35, demons began to spread fear and terror throughout the kingdom. The former king died battling an archdemon, leaving Leon to face a new threat. While many sought solace in the gods, Leon blamed the mages who summoned the archdemon for the chaos. Recognizing Leon's trustworthiness and honor, the deity chose him to become the new king. Leon accepted the responsibility, unwilling to abandon his knights and followers. He received the sacred treasure of the goddess, consuming it and vowing to protect the Holy Grail. As a result, he ascended to become the Grand Duke and King of the Lionheart Kingdom. Over the following 80 years, the kingdom faced 3 major wars against orcs and the rise of an archdemon from a despicable goblin. Amid these trials, Leon received news of dangerous experiments conducted by the kingdom's school of black magic. At the age of 96, Leon confronts the dark rituals and witnesses the Emperor sacrificing millions of lives in an attempt to achieve immortality. Chaos ensues as the Lord of Chaos is summoned to the capital. Leon, now 121 years old, sets off to the capital, ready to do everything in his power to vanquish evil and protect the world. Despite his valiant efforts, the world succumbed to destruction, and Leon found himself surrounded by fallen warriors. In this moment, he reflected on his journey, holding a doll symbolizing his struggle against evil. A knight's voice pulled him back to reality, reminding him of his duty. Leon acknowledged his father's honorable sacrifice and assured the knight that he now feasted with the gods. Rallying his troops, he asked if they could hear the echoes of evil sweeping across the land, boosting their morale for a final battle. With unwavering honor, Leon's troops charged forward as the forces of evil bore down on their fortress. The doll Leon once held was now placed upon a grave, symbolizing the sacrifices made in the pursuit of righteousness. Leon summoned his magical weapon, readying himself for the impending battle. The goddess assured him of her presence until the end, and the flag of the Duke symbol fluttered in the air. Finally, after 256 years since his birth, he sealed the last demon portal, forever trapping the demons within this world. Undeterred, Leon continued his mission, defeating countless demons over the next 300 years. The mortals who encountered him were astounded by his unwavering resolve. Leon revealed himself as the King of Lionheart and the envoy of the Holy Temple. Naked and surrounded by astonished humans, Leon explained that it took him 300 years to encounter people from his original world again. During that time, he vanquished countless demons. The severed head of a colossal demon lay before them, a testament to his power. Meanwhile, a mysterious black portal opened in the middle of Seoul, causing alarm and confusion. The Korea Hunter Association and the World Hunter Association sent requests for assistance to the largest guilds, but their pleas were declined due to the lack of an accurate assessment of the portal's difficulty. The decision was made to send in a team from the Korea Hunter Association, knowing it would be a suicide mission. The members displayed their fear as they entered the portal, only to be met with a blood-soaked sky and the sight of a fully clothed Leon on a battlefield. Inside the portal, a red-haired woman named Hanhari was astounded by the scene before her. The ground was littered with the corpses of thousands of demons. Another man, Kim Jin-soo, offered her a coffee and inquired about what had happened. Harry admitted that no one would believe the situation they encountered. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Jin-soo agreed that it was to be expected, suspecting that the portal might be a black-rank demon portal, possibly even housing a greater demon. Miraculously, the team from the Korea Hunter Association returned without the aid of other guilds. having managed to clean up the carnage thanks to their encounter with Leon. Back in the real world, Leon sat fully dressed in an interrogation room, realizing that he was the sole survivor from within the portal. It was not uncommon for some individuals to survive in these alternate worlds that the portals led to. For the past 30 years, random portals had been appearing worldwide, each depicting a world on the brink of destruction or already engulfed in chaos. Hari emphasized the need to recruit Leon due to his incredible strength, a sentiment shared by Jinsu. The monster Leon had annihilated was feared even by S-rank hunters. However, Jinsu raised concerns about the cultural differences and implications of Leon's arrival. Hari reassured him, confident that the government would handle the situation. Her conviction was reinforced by Leon's outburst, shattering the glass and causing debris to fly wildly. Both Hari and Jinsu were amazed as Leon became enraged, his body enveloped in a yellow aura. Recalling their conversation from 15 minutes earlier, a camera recorded the scene, and an agent took notes on a piece of paper as he spoke with Leon. This situation felt unfamiliar to Leon, who vividly remembered his past life as an orphan who died from exhaustion in his 20s. He also recalled being reborn and reigning as a king for over a century. Despite living for 300 years, he still retained memories of Earth. Leon saw no advantage in revealing that he also originated from Earth. Assertively, he demanded to be addressed as His Majesty, belittling the agent as a peasant. The agent explained that Leon's world had made contact, inquiring if he had defeated all the demons. Leon affirmed this, prompting the agent to apologize and continue addressing him as His Majesty. Leon questioned if the agent had already forgotten, explaining that he had vanquished all evil and protected the knight's honor. Taking charge, Leon demanded that the agent become his temporary secretary. The agent, recalling the conversation earlier, once again found himself sweating incredibly. He acknowledged that there might be cultural differences to navigate. In a royal manner, Leon expressed his hunger, leading the agent to immediately order food. Curious about the current state of the world, Leon asked for an explanation. The agent began to elaborate, describing how portals had started appearing worldwide 30 years ago, unleashing monsters and demons. Since then, the world had been on high alert. They had discovered that each portal had its own theme and quest, and if the quest was not completed, monsters would emerge from the portal and attack Earth. Interrupted by a knock on the door, the agent momentarily paused the explanation to receive the food. Leon contemplated the proliferation of demons in his world and the existence of portals with themes and tasks on Earth. He wonders the possibility that people were training through these tasks. Resuming the conversation, the agent addressed Leon as His Majesty and informed him that the food was ready. Leon gazed at the steaming bowl of food, recognizing it as his favorite dish from before his rebirth. Outraged, Leon pounded on the table, demanding a meal befitting his royal status. The delicious food remained on the floor, steaming as Leon feigned shock, asserting his kingly status even though he was back on Earth. Leon enjoys a delicious steak and wine, while Hari expresses gratitude for his satisfaction. Jinsu suggests that Hari should enter the room first, but Hari explains her inability to speak the ancient language. Jinsu points out Leon's particular interest in Hari, who received a compliment from him. Hari enters the conference room and greets Leon, who acknowledges her as the woman he saved. They engage in conversation while Jinsu observes from the surveillance room. Suddenly, Jinsu signals to Hari, indicating a sense of urgency. Hari asks Leon about his enjoyment of the food, and he assures her that it was satisfactory. Leon explains that their attitude towards a king rather than the food poses a challenge. Hari realizes her lack of respect and expresses regret. However, Leon reassures her and asks for her name. He becomes intrigued and questions Hari about the existence of demons on Earth. Hari's mission is to recruit Leon, emphasizing the importance of survivors in the 21st century and the potential for conflict among nations. Leon, committed to his identity as an honorable knight, believes in the necessity of fighting. Hari finds hope in Leon's words, comparing them to the values of the Hunter Association. Leon further reveals his desire to establish a knight order, beyond being a soldier for a nation. Hari is speechless but agrees with his vision. However, she wonders about the response from higher authorities. Jinsu explains that their input is irrelevant. Their duty is to support Leon wholeheartedly. Hari feels disheartened, considering the government's submission to Leon's demands. She expresses frustration over guilds that flaunt their power and wealth, particularly the Phoenix Guild. An alarm interrupts their conversation, signaling the imminent release of monsters through a portal. Hari suggests closing the portal near the Phoenix Guild, assuming their S-rank leader can handle the task. However, Jinsu suspects their leader, Yongwan, has ulterior motives. Leon overhears their discussion, sensing trouble and feeling out of place in this world. He wonders about the safety of Hari and Jinsu, using his aura to connect with them. A connection is established, revealing a castle with a woman inside. The grain fields appear diseased, and the negligent Phoenix Guild is present. Hari and Jinsu realize the guild's willingness to let disaster strike due to unmet demands and tax exemptions. Youngwon's demeanor infuriates Hari, while Leon considers him shallow and outdated. Hari explains Leon's survivor status to Youngwon, who immediately bows in respect. Leon asks Jinsu to explain the portal problem. Hari and Jinsu excitedly discuss the dungeon breaks and the dire consequences for grain production. They emphasize the urgency to defeat the dungeon and request government permission for Leon's involvement as an honorable knight. Youngwon realizes Leon's vulnerable position and contacts the president for the necessary permissions. Hari informs Leon of her preparations but questions the significance of the straw doll. Leon clarifies that the doll is connected to cleansing the infected land and requires mothers to create them. Leon examines the dolls but finds them lacking. He destroys them until an older woman presents a beautiful doll. Leon is impressed and asks about her children. Her proud response leads to Leon accepting the doll and placing it on an altar. Using a holy grail, Leon initiates a magical ritual. Water overflows, the sun shines, and the water revitalizes the land. The doll, named Demera, comes to life and reveals herself as the goddess of life and abundance. The doll informed Leon that the land was contaminated by demonic energy. Leon acknowledged this and explained that while demons existed, there was no deity in this world. He expressed concern that the Phoenix Guild would insult the deity's eyes. When asked about his intentions, Leon shared his desire to lead the people until a new pantheon emerged on Earth. The doll assured him of her readiness to help. Leon prayed to the goddess, hoping for her assistance in healing and purifying the land. The doll allowed a drop of her divinity to fall, and a bright beam of light illuminated the initially gray plants, restoring their color. Hari, Jinsu, and their comrades were amazed as they witnessed the land blessed by a deity. Leon urged them to observe and learn from this world of divine blessing, where golden rice fields stretched as far as the eye could see. The tasks of living beings were fertility and prosperity. Hari and Jinsu marveled at the sight of the golden rice. Youngwon, visibly annoyed and frustrated, disregarded the heroic act and dismissed the rice as poison. Leon defended the plants, emphasizing their blessing by a deity, and condemned Youngwon's insult. With a cold gaze, Leon chastised Youngwon for his ignorance and warned him against disrespecting the deity again. Youngwon swallowed his despair while his followers remained unaware of his failure. Youngwon suggested proving that the rice was not poisoned and hoped for Leon's cooperation. An expert evaluator provided by Youngwon confirmed that the rice was indeed blessed and could heal curses, leaving Hari and Jinsu astonished. Jinsu requested a pot to be brought from the chief's house. In the midst of the golden rice field, a small pot stood, cooking rice. Jinsu consumed the rice and experienced an increase in stamina and mana regeneration, realizing its incredible power. Excitedly, Hari shared her discovery with Jinsu, explaining how she gained a buff by eating a beetle, further confirming the blessings bestowed upon the entire land. Jinsu ordered his people to gather as much rice as possible, preparing to enter the portal with full buffs. The deity spoke to Leon, stating that her task in that place was fulfilled, and she needed to return. Leon expressed his eternal gratitude for the love and sanctity she had imparted. She reminded Leon to take care of himself as well before the doll toppled over. Hari questioned Leon about the nature of all this, and he explained that it was divine power. Uncertain if there was no god in this world, Hari listened as Leon emphasized that a good life and a good world were made with divine power, encouraging people to embrace this concept. Now fully prepared and at their maximum strength, the soldiers were ready to enter the portal. One of Youngwon's followers expressed concern about interfering with the plan. Youngwon insulted Leon, blaming him for the government's non-compliance with their demands. Leon, Hari, and Jinsu set off toward the portal. Youngwon had an idea, reassuring his follower and realizing that only Hari, an A-rank hunter, had combat experience. He maliciously anticipated their defeat, as a powerful monster awaited them inside the portal, unable to be defeated by conventional means. Upon entering the portal and venturing into the dungeon, our group proceeded cautiously. Jinsu led the way with his shield, Leon stood behind him, and Hari positioned herself slightly ahead. Leon understood that most portals closed once the boss inside was defeated, and he was intrigued by the idea of facing a boss. Hari couldn't tell Leon that boss battles typically required a team effort. They came across skeletons on the ground, evidence of previous failed attempts to defeat the dungeon. Hari explained that as long as the boss remained undefeated, creatures like zombies, demons, and skeletons would keep reappearing. Realizing that defeating the boss was essential, Leon grasped the futility of battling the endless skeletons. Hari suspected the presence of a necromancer controlling them. A window appeared in front of Hari, indicating a 3-hour countdown before the boss gathered its troops. As the tension mounted, Jinsu cursed Youngwon while Hari grew nervous, and Leon remained unaffected. They witnessed a hand holding a knight's helmet and a glowing blue-eyed figure mounted on a horse, surrounded by thousands of skeletons. Another window informed them they had precisely 2 minutes and 58 seconds to defeat the knight on the horse. The skeletons prepared to attack, and the group's morale wavered. Jinsu tried to boost their spirits, commanding the snipers to take out long-range fighters and the tanks to block the skeletons. Jinsu faced a relentless wave of skeletons, but as a skilled B-rank tank, he held his ground and retaliated. He shattered a skeleton and noticed 2 mages casting spells behind him. He deliberately drew their attention, shouting loudly through the cave. The mages redirected their magic towards Jinsu, but he managed to withstand the attack. Now, the Headless Knight stood before Jinsu, surrounded by a blue aura and clad in black armor. Despite Jinsu's determined gaze, the Black Knight struck with force, throwing Jinsu back among a pile of rocks. Concerned for their comrade, Harry and the others wanted to help but were unsure how to proceed. With no time to wait for reinforcements, Harry approached Leon and requested his assistance. However, Leon calmly stated that a king does not intervene in such insignificant battles. Harry was puzzled, and Leon remarked that they should find ways to build their own honor. Unwilling to help and solely interested in the Headless Knight, Leon left the group uncertain of their next move. Harry swung her sword and decided to defeat the boss herself, instructing the others to take care of Jinsu. She charged forward past the skeletons and engaged the Headless Knight. Harry leaped onto a skeleton's head to reach the level of the Headless Knight and attacked, but he parried her strike with his great sword. Undeterred, Harry focused on separating him from the group. However, the Headless Knight retaliated with a powerful fist, sending her reeling. Enduring the hit, Harry regrouped and noticed the knight discarding his head, preparing to strike. She prepared herself and a massive explosion engulfed the area. Yet the knight blocked the attack, and Harry launched another assault, determined to end the battle. As the battle intensified, the knight's helmet flew back into his hand and Harry continued her onslaught. However, her attacks were consistently blocked. Observing the knight's stance, Harry closed her eyes and to her surprise, silence filled the cave, followed by applause and clapping hands. Leon apologized to the Headless Knight for assuming he was merely an undead creature, and offered him the opportunity to challenge him to a duel. Hari, Jinsu, and even a skeleton couldn't believe their eyes, wearing expressions of astonishment. The Headless Knight initially remained silent but ultimately accepted the challenge. As Leon and the Headless Knight prepared to engage in a duel, the skeletons in the cave took an interest and approached. Observing attentively, Leon stood arrogantly before the knight but spoke with respect, summoning his sword and requesting the knight to remove his helmet. The Headless Knight remained silent, and Leon noted that the knight fought with a two-handed sword, which put him at a disadvantage. Harry approached Leon and informed him that the Headless Knight could not be defeated unless decapitated. Leon seemed unconcerned, questioning the importance of decapitation. Harry, astonished, emphasized its significance. Confused, she wondered how Leon would win without decapitation. Undeterred, Leon explained that the winner would be determined by the knight's honor. Assuming their starting positions, Leon spoke his name, but the Headless Knight remained silent. As soon as Leon announced the duel and finished speaking his name, the Headless Knight swiftly charged forward, launching a powerful attack. Leon effortlessly blocked the strike, almost seeing through the knight's moves. Leon parried the attack, redirecting it and lightly touching the Headless Knight. He counted 1, readying his sword again, declaring that the second round had begun. The Headless Knight raised his sword, positioned himself, and launched another mighty attack. Leon criticized the knight's footwork, swiftly bringing him down. The group, including Jinsu, could hardly believe their eyes, wondering what had just happened. Hari found it unbelievable, while Jinsu asked if she had witnessed the extraordinary feat. Hari explained that Leon had altered the trajectory of the Headless Knight's sword at the moment of contact, executing a crosscut, a move no one would ever attempt. The Headless Knight stood up once more, and Leon lightly touched him with the tip of his sword, counting 2. Instructing the knight to return to his position, Leon continued the battle. The Headless Knight attacked Leon again, but Leon maintained a posture of honor and grandeur, accepting and blocking every attack. Leon disarmed the knight, lightly touching him for the 3rd time. Leon asked the knight if he wished to continue. The Headless Knight confirmed this and expressed his desire to continue the duel. The knight called his skeleton, which held his head, and lifted it up, reminiscing about his past and reflecting on the dishonor of his life. He offered his head to Leon, stating that ending his life in this manner would bring him joy. Leon expressed his joy at the knight rediscovering his honor, placed his hand on the knight's head and prayed for him. A bright light illuminated the cave as Leon wished for the knight's soul to rest, accompanied by a deity if one existed. As the light grew larger, the Headless Knight's helmet and armor dissolved, and the group found themselves back in the rice fields. Harry informed Jinsu that Leon had indeed kept his promise, resolving the matter through a duel. They pondered the magic Leon had used, and Harry remarked that he should have used it earlier. Overhearing the conversation, Leon explained that a knight's honor stems from deeds, and he wanted the Headless Knight to receive what he deserved. The group inspected the knight's loot, including the sword, cloak, and a purple ball with a violet aura. Leon immediately noticed the ball and destroyed it, much to Jinsu's dismay. The group was astonished, unable to believe that Leon had destroyed a potentially valuable item. However, Leon stated that such items only bring chaos. Harry found herself standing in a fancy modern estate, pushing a serving cart with a small scale on it. She appeared tired and worn out, with dark circles under her eyes and disheveled hair. Days had passed since Leon's return to Earth, and Harry had been dealing with various problems and challenges during that time. One of the issues arose when they encountered a problem with taxes. Leon became furious, questioning why as a king he should pay taxes to another nation, and how they dared to ask him for such payments. In response, Harry suggested that he could pay in monastones instead. However, Leon dismissed the discussion of money, stating that it was a task for people beneath him, and he had no interest in it. They also gained new followers who wanted to spread the divine power in their land. However, Leon demanded an outrageous amount from them, asking for about 90% of their earnings. The older individuals expressed their inability to give away such a large portion of their income, and Leon lost interest in the conversation, leaving Harry and the older individuals puzzled. Furthermore, Leon had specific demands for his residence. When Harry initially brought him to a nice apartment, he immediately expressed his displeasure and yelled at her, questioning how she dared to bring him to such a place. He demanded a luxurious bed, servants at his beck and call, and artworks to admire. Harry spent hours making phone calls late into the night searching for a suitable 5-star hotel suite to meet Leon's expectations. Now, Harry found herself in Leon's suite, standing before him with the serving cart. She politely asked if His Majesty was doing well, to which Leon sat in an armchair gazing out of the window. He asked if she had already eaten, somewhat condescendingly telling her to eat and not skip meals. Harry's face turned sweaty as she agreed, wanting to avoid any further confrontations. She lifted the serving dome to reveal Leon's feast hidden underneath, consisting of meat, salad, and other delicious dishes. As she looked at the food, her hunger grew stronger and she found it tempting, considering making herself a sandwich later. However, Leon, wearing a beige coat and holding a glass of wine, wanted Harry to sit down. She was astonished and confused, wondering if he wanted to share his meal with her. Leon looked at her coldly, asking in which country a king would eat with a subject. Harry turned slightly blue, briefly fearing for her life. After breakfast, Leon and Harry got into a black limousine and drove off. Harry updated Leon on the support they would receive from the Hunter Association in terms of funding and resettlement aid. Leon seemed content, stating that as a guest he couldn't ask for more and wanted Harry to take care of everything. They arrived at a large white building with many windows, near the Hunter Association's headquarters. Harry explained that the building had a helicopter landing pad, making it convenient. They were greeted by Park Jong-chan, a member of the Dujung group and the director of Dujung's Food of the Future. Harry was surprised by his presence, as it was supposed to be a secret visit. Leon questioned why a mere merchant would want to shake hands with him, refusing the handshake. In Leon's room, as Harry explained that the Hunter Association would provide him with the place for a year and cover all costs, Leon remained silent, looking out of the window. Harry expressed her relief about the situation at the field camp, where information about the survivors was strictly confidential. She was glad that Leon had ignored Jong-chan and left him standing. Harry asked Leon what he thought Jong-chan wanted to discuss with him. Leon believed that Jong-chan was only interested in personal profit, likely related to the blessed rice. Harry mentioned a streamer named Farmer Mr. Park, who had uploaded a video discussing the rice's effects. Jong-chan watched the video and insulted Leon, referring to him as a small, arrogant savage. Jong-chan expressed his anger and started planning to meet Leon again, intending to overwhelm him with a cultural shock. After Leon's return to Earth, he set 3 goals for himself. His first goal was to spread belief and divinity. He observed that although there were many gods on Earth with a considerable number of believers, there was no divine power actively helping humans. People fell ill and the lands became contaminated and infertile. Leon believed that to bring about a permanent change and bless the lands, a new power must emerge, one in which people could believe and harness. His second goal was to reform the Temple Knights. In a world without divine power, Leon aimed to establish an organization of knights capable of wielding power. As the protector of the Holy Grail and the king of Leon Heart, a demigod, he envisioned his knights possessing the power of divine might to be called the Holy. With their divine power, they would put an end to the forces of evil and vanquish them. The third goal Leon set for himself was to eliminate the evil thriving in the land, restore divine power, and strengthen the Templar Knights. However, as he contemplated these goals, he also acknowledged the need to maintain balance and control within the Pantheon to ensure order. Only then could he increase the power of the Templar Knights. Leon wondered if his desires for the Knights were excessive, but decided to focus on fulfilling his duty in the present. Sitting in his chair, holding a glass of red wine, Leon gazed out of the large glass window, as he often did. He believed it was essential to continue spreading belief, even in a place like Earth. Suddenly, he turned around as Harry addressed him. informing him that someone wished to have an official meeting with him. Minutes later, Leon sat regally in his chair with Hari dutifully standing beside him like a secretary. Before them stood Zhongchan and 2 other men. They respectfully addressed Leon as Your Majesty and thanked him for arranging the meeting. Zhongchan put on a fake smile, but beads of sweat formed on his forehead. He thought that, for the sake of business, he could bow before this foolish savage. However, Zhongchan stated the opposite, claiming to have a small gift for his king. He presented a silver metallic-like suitcase brought forward by one of his men. Zhongchan urged Leon to accept the gift, assuring him that he would be surprised once he saw its contents. He believed it to be a top-tier luxury item that a dumb savage like Leon could never dream of or see. Leon sighed, accepting the item as a reward for Zhongchan's efforts. Zhongchan couldn't believe what he had heard. He questioned Leon's behavior and wondered if Leon thought he would be doing him a favor by accepting the gift. Despite Zhongchan's anger, he maintained composure and tried to remain friendly, urging Leon to look at the contents of the suitcase. Leon, uninterested in making the effort, ordered Harry to open the suitcase while he sat bored in his chair, merely pointing at it. Harry approached the suitcase, slightly startled as she opened it, releasing the air. Her astonishment grew as she recognized the magnificent swords inside. They were of excellent quality, adorned with craftsmanship, and untouched by blood. Proudly, Zhongchan presented the best weapons his group had to offer, informing Leon that he could choose one of the swords. Hari, with shining eyes and a surprised expression, explained that all the swords were of unique rank, likely forged by the master craftsmen of the Dujung group. Hari couldn't contain her surprise, remarking that such swords were not typically available for purchase. She had only seen such top-class weapons on YouTube when she was a student. However, contrary to Zhongchan's expectations, Leon expressed disappointment in the quality of the swords. He considered the entire presentation a waste of time. Leon looked at Zhongchan and his men with a cold gaze, deciding to drastically shorten the duration of the meeting. He gave them 3 more minutes. Zhongchan and his men were shocked, unable to believe that their group's supposedly strongest weapon, Dawn, had shattered so easily. As the clock ticked, Zhongchan and his men bowed and asked if they could obtain the patent rights to the rice fields. Leon, sitting in a regal posture, confirmed what he had heard, stating that he would be willing to pay for it. He mentioned a price of 180 trillion won, although he believed the fields to be worth much more. Zhongchan couldn't believe that the rice, which could heal cancer, was valued so low. However, Leon looked at Zhongchan with a cold gaze, questioning his understanding. He insulted Zhongchan as a pitiful merchant, expressing his anger at the audacity of offering money to insult divinity. Leon questioned how a mere merchant could dare to insult the gods so casually. Zhongchan and his followers were both fascinated and frightened by the threatening aura emanating from Leon. They had never imagined that such a dark aura could radiate from him, and its intense heat took their breath away. Zhongchan was overwhelmed and terrified, finding it difficult to utter a word in Leon's presence. Leon scornfully asked how someone could be so ignorant and uncivilized. Leaving Zhongchan struggling to breathe and provide an explanation, Leon explained that the plants Zhongchan wanted to buy with dirty money had grown on land blessed by the goddess Demera. These gifts were rewards for the farmers' hard work, their sweat, tears, and devotion. Such things couldn't be bought with money alone. A grateful and believing heart was more than enough for the goddess. Despite the confrontation, Leon turned his attention to Hari, who questioned whether it was okay to let Zhongchan go so easily. Leon looked around and dismissed the notion that Zhongchan, as an insignificant merchant from a royal perspective, held any influence over him. He emphasized that he couldn't be swayed by someone as vulgar as Zhongchan. Leon then inquired whether the requested items were prepared, to which Hari responded hesitantly, stating that the association had been contacted. Harry eagerly asked if Leon intended to take the test as well, believing it would make things easier. However, Leon's horrified expression showed his disdain for the idea. Angrily, he questioned the absurdity of testing him as a king. Harry, shocked by Leon's intense reaction, fearfully asked if he wanted to go for any other reason. Determined, Leon asserted that he was in search of useful soldiers and would be the one subjecting them to a test, even if it proved difficult. Leon then made his way to the association building, a large structure with numerous windows located in the heart of the city. Inside the lobby, a hunter named Gu Daesung greeted his old acquaintance, team manager Kim Do-han, whom he hadn't seen in a while. Do-han and Daesung engaged in a conversation, their gazes wandering around the lobby. Do-han, aware of Daesung's hard work and dedication, asked about his prospects for becoming a C-rank hunter. Daesung, though lost in thought about his stagnation at the D-rank for 10 years, expressed his determination to keep trying. As they conversed, Do-han suddenly noticed a foreigner in the lobby. Both Do-han and Daesung observed the foreigner, believing him to be handsome and exhibiting royal behavior. Do-han approached the foreigner, Leon, and greeted him without much respect. Leon, unimpressed, questioned whom Do-han was addressing and insulted him as a peasant. Confused and pale-faced, Dohan addressed Daesung, sharing his observations about Leon's strange speech and appearance. Both Dohan and Daesung found themselves captivated by Leon's presence. However, Daesung's focus on Leon left him trembling and unable to breathe. An association employee called out Daesung's number, instructing him to proceed to room 2 for an interview. Startled back to reality, Daesung rushed to the designated room. Meanwhile, Leon continued to contemplate his purpose at the association building, realizing that finding suitable warriors was proving difficult. He found the candidates unimpressive and beneath his expectations. Another association employee called out Leon's number, leading him to room 9 for his interview. Inside, Leon encountered a few elderly gentlemen who addressed him respectfully as Leon Dragonia Lionheart. Leon commanded them to refer to him as His Majesty, and recognized their status as ordinary citizen. The interviewers requested Leon to place his hand on a device to initiate a strength test. Leon, unenthusiastic, regarded the device without much interest. Dismissing the interviewers as fools, he left them perplexed. Leon questioned how such a simple machine could assess the strength of a knight when that privilege was reserved for honorable knights and gods. Confused and fearful, the interviewers asked why Leon was there then. Leon averted his gaze and declared that he was there to find suitable warriors, further insulting the judges. The interviewers, drenched in sweat, struggled to comprehend the situation. Leon stated that he hadn't found anyone worthy of his attention and requested to proceed with the next test. The interviewers replied that a test was currently taking place near a portal. Leon acknowledged that true abilities were demonstrated through consistent training and realistic situations. Deciding to take a closer look, the candidates found themselves in a beautiful meadow with lush green grass, bathed in sunlight under a vast blue sky. As they settled in, Daesung, observing his surroundings, noted that most candidates were newcomers of D or C rank, including an elderly man. Meanwhile, Leon sprinted through the portal, catching Daesung's attention once again. Amidst his thoughts, Daesung realized that the old man was likely a newcomer, considering his age and presence at the test. Daesung wondered if it was appropriate for him as an experienced hunter to be grouped with newcomers.